Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Where in the world are you at the moment?
Right now I'm in San Diego, California, and I have a home near Del Mar, around that area.
Now, Steve, I've got to ask you, you have such an instantly recognizable voice. If I can take you back just to the beginning for a second, who were your inspirations?
I think my main inspiration when I was a kid was all the R&B music that existed at the time. I'll never forget, though, riding with my mother in her 56 Thunderbird and Cupid coming on the radio from Sam Cooke. It just felt like to me that I heard an emotion and a feeling in that voice that my world got really small. It was like I had tunnel vision at that moment, and I was captivated by the radio and what was coming out of it. It was a moment. So I think Sam Cooke would have to be a big influence in me.
That is such a romantic image, you know, being in a car like that and Sam Cooke on the radio. It's things we could only dream of.
Yeah. A 56 Thunderbird and Sam Cooke, they kind of go together, don't they?
It's a fantastic image. Over in the UK, we haven't heard anything from Steve Perry for quite a long time. What have you been up to since the Journey days?
Well, you know, we got together in '78, and we were really a great band together. We worked together till about, I would say, I think my last show with the band was somewhere around 90, I think 87. I think it was the last time I performed with the band. Mm-hmm. So from about that point on, I've been doing other projects. I did some solo projects. I did a solo tour in the States for a while. Been living life, you know, and I kind of took a hiatus until we got back together and tried to put the band back together years later, you know, for the Trial by Fire issue, which did come out later, but that didn't work out for all sorts of reasons, and the band fell apart, and then they've had 3 singers since then, and I've been just sort of writing some new music recently and trying to figure out if I want to start recording again. I'm kind of excited about some of the new songs I've written. I mean, the music business was my whole life. There was nothing else that meant more to me than to be in front of people performing and trying to prove to them that I could sing, that I want them to dig me, you know, please, you know, tell me I'm okay, you know, tell me I can sing, you know, so, you know, either give me thumbs down or thumbs up, you know, and so my whole life was about that. And then when I was so fortunate to have had some success in the music business, and it had peaked, and we were sort of like falling apart, which is what bands do, you know. I did step away from it and just try to get, as I tell friends of mine, I kind of wanted to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere of my life, you know.
That's a good way of putting it. So all of a sudden as well, especially over here in the UK, you have suddenly got a whole new lease of fame. Do you know how big Don't Stop Believing is here at the moment?
Well, I've heard about it, and I'm stunned, and that's why we're talking, because it's an amazing thing that's happening with that song. I'm so grateful and so excited at the same time to see in my lifetime that song have a total resurgence, and I dare say it's bigger now than it was when it was originally released in 1981 on the Escape record. I
think you're actually right there, Steve, because it is in the UK top 40 at the moment. It's still in the top 10.
I know, that's what I heard. And I also know that Columbia over there is so excited about it. They've decided to re-release the Journey Greatest Hits, which hasn't really come out there in years, as a result of Don't Stop Believing's popularity.
Absolutely, which is the album, of course, that we're promoting all this week as well. So Don't Stop Believing, it was featured very heavily in, I suppose it's our version of America's Got Talent, which is the X Factor show. Have you heard of that?
You don't. That's sort of the American Idol version, is that right?
That's right, yeah, it's the same thing. It's another Simon Cowell show. And the guy that actually won the show over here, he's a little boy from the northeast of England, and he belted out Don't Stop Believing. Everybody just loved it.
Well, he was good, I hear. I have not heard him, but I heard he was great.
So, the album then, did you have anything to do with which tracks were actually laid down on that album? Were they your favourite ones? Because, of course, Journey had so many big hits in the US.
There's so many. I just don't know what to tell you, but there was one song that I do have a place in my heart for. It's called When You Love a Woman, which is probably on the new greatest hits over there. And it was probably the last song when we reconvened to be together again, and then that fell apart. That was the first song we put together, and that was nominated for a Grammy here. So that was a beautiful return, but then it didn't go the distance. We sort of fell apart again.
Which is a great shame. But I must say that our listeners are absolutely loving the album at the moment. As soon as we play a Journey track, the phone lines are just lighting up here. It's been very, very popular indeed. Oh, my goodness. I wish I could tell everybody how much that truly means to me.
I've always wanted the UK to hear me sing, and it's been something, we've had some popularity in the UK, but it just, I was a product of the British invasion. It literally launched my musical, my fervor, my musical emotion, and so it means so much to me emotionally to hear that. Thank you.
Now, as well as that, I'm going to ask, I don't know whether you've been involved in this, but we've had the Haiti earthquake just recently, and we were looking at the video just this morning. We heard that the USA for Africa team that did We Are the World back in the 1980s. We heard they were reuniting the original artists to do that, and we watched the video this morning, and even though you haven't changed a bit, there you were doing a great big line on it.
Yeah, it's an amazing new lineup. Yeah, I mean, they decided, I guess, not to use any of the originals except for a couple, and they did a whole new lineup, which is pretty amazing. I was glad to see Gladys Knight there myself, because I love her, and I love so many artists. It was nice to see Barbra Streisand there. I love her too. And there's so many great new artists. I mean, there's plenty of great music in that song. I'll tell you, that's a great song.
For you to be a part of it must have been just brilliant.
Well, it was fun to do it. I'll tell you, to be there, and the one I was involved in was like I had to keep pinching myself because it was very, to be honest with you, it was a bit uncomfortable because I'd look around the room and I'm seeing all these people that I grew up with going, oh my God, there's Ray Charles, holy moly mackerel, there's Diana Ross, oh my God, one after, and then Bruce Springsteen and Michael Jackson, and the list kept going, So I was a bit overwhelmed, to be perfectly honest with you, to the point, but I thought I would just leave the room for a second when they were doing and I went into the catering room and sat there with Bette Midler and Paul Simon, and we ate like cold cuts and pineapple together, and until they called us back in, it was just a little overwhelming,
Steve, thank you very much for talking to us. It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure, and hopefully we're going to hear a lot more of your new material when you get that laid down.
Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate it. Say hi to everybody in the UK for North UK for me, please.